Hello, my name's David Seaman, and this is the Three Lions Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Three Lions Podcast. My name is Russell Osborne and this is an independent England football supporters podcast. Hope I find you well. The World Cup, well, it is getting ever closer. It is just over a month away. I have to be honest though, I'm still not feeling it. Thank you very much for all the feedback on the recent episode I released, and it seems, well, I'm not the only one. That episode, the disillusionment of the 2026 World Cup, it is still available at your podcast provider of choice. It is episode 410. As I said on that, I've no doubt that once it all kicks off, I will be fully immersed into it. But it's just a shame that a major tournament such as this feels the way it does. Anyway, on to this episode. A little while back, I released the first in a series of chats with England fan Rob Did. Now, he began following England back in 1986. He managed to make 222 consecutive games and hasn't missed a home game since we beat Scotland in the Rouse Cup in 1986. It's so much dedication. It went down really well. So many people enjoyed it. So this is part 2. Now, before I hit the play button, I previously mentioned that he's appeared in various books. I know there are a few bookworms out there in the audience. So I thought, well, let me just run through those books for you, just in case you fancy seeking them out and reading them. Pete Davis, All Played Out, the full story of Italia 90. He appears in that. That is a good book, that one. England, Travels with a Football Nation by Mark Perryman. Also by Mark Perryman, Going Oriental, Football After the World Cup 2002. Mel Huckridge wrote Guilty by Association. He appears in that. And finally, England Till I Die by David Lane. I've read that one as well. That's a good book, that one. You should be able to pick most of those up on the likes of eBay, Amazon. I have to be honest, I'm struggling though to find Mel Huckridge's Guilty by Association, but I'm sure it'll appear at some point. Right, let's get into it. Part 2 of my chat with Rob Did. Now I'd like to welcome back to the Three Lions Podcast. A lot of great messages on the previous episode I'd done for this. Welcome back to the show, Chelsea and England fan Rob Did. Rob, you all right?
Yeah, good, mate. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. As I say, loads of people really enjoyed the first episode we've done. Loads of stories there, and yeah, hopefully we've got a few more to share with us.
We've got a couple.
I mean, for those that may be just joining us, and you missed the first one, go back and listen to it. But we left it after the 1990 World Cup, and I need to go back on a couple of things. Because back then you gave us a load of facts and figures and all the stats, 222 games, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We couldn't remember the guy's name who has now taken that record from you, but you've got his name now, have you? And we need to give him the credit.
Yeah, Howard Thompson. He's from Worcester. Nice lad.
Howard Thompson. Maybe Howard wants to get in touch. Maybe, and we'll have a chat one day. But yeah, wanted to credit him as well. 1990, by all accounts, there was a lot of games for you, wasn't there? We talk about the numbers and that.
Yeah, I think years ago that the FA sort of put something out that says, all these questions that fans can write in and ask about. And, it got me thinking. It was saying, like, how many games have you done in a year? How many, what's the furthest you've travelled? And, loads of different, questions they put forward, and everyone submitted their answers and that. And then I think I might have won every category, so they cancelled it duly and never heard anything out about it. But the statistics were, how many games have you done in a year? And I was looking at 1990 in particular because obviously we played the 7 games in the World Cup to start with.
Yes.
And then I was looking at it, and it was like 15 full internationals that caps were awarded.
Right.
And then obviously I've done the forgotten friendlies in Sardinia.
Yeah,
so that was another
those,
two. Whether you would call that full internationals, there was obviously friendlies, and they weren't caps awarded to them. But then on top of that, there was like 6 home games, 11 away games. B internationals have done 1 at home, 1 away. Under 21s, 3 at home, 1 away. And then Peter Shilton's testimonial at the end of the year to making 24 games in that season.
Wow, 24 England-related games in a season. That's two a month, isn't it?
Yeah, when you think about it like that, yeah. I mean, I started doing the under 21s in 87, Turkey away, and then 89, I started doing the B internationals with a nice little trip to Iceland away, which a lot of people still haven't done since then. Obviously, we had the game during COVID.
Yes, of course.
Couldn't go, but then I thought I looked at 1991, and then it went down to 21, which is still quite,
it's quite impressive.
Yeah, quite impressive, really. But the problem with that year was we played Australia, Malaysia, and New Zealand 4 games in a summer tour, which obviously bumped up the cost for that year.
Yeah. I've got a feeling that this tour, Bobby Robson wasn't too happy about, because obviously, it wouldn't have been Bobby Robson. It would have been Graham Taylor. He wasn't very happy about it because basically it'd just been the FA had organised it and said, right, you're going on a money spinning tour of Down Under.
Yeah, I mean, I think when he come into the job, there's the thing is, the year after a World Cup was the year you'd done a tour somewhere, obviously to get money in and whatever. That was, Euros possibly after that, but it was always the norm that you look forward to a potential tour after the World Cup the following year, because obviously there's no tournament. So you should have expected something. Obviously it was a bit further than he probably imagined to be on the other side of the world.
So when did you find out that it was so far away?
Well, I actually knew where Australia was, actually, so I didn't.
No, I mean, how far in advance did you know?
I couldn't tell you, to be fair, but I bet you it wasn't that long before, because I know my mate went down to travel agent, and Trail Finders in High Street, Kensington, or wherever it is, and he booked it up, and then I went down there the following day. Him and his mate booked up. And next day, I went to book it up, and there was no flights on that particular flight. There's no places on that flight.
They'd taken the last ones, had they?
Yeah, so it must have been pretty close for me not to be able to get onto that flight. So I had to fly the following day on my own, basically. 24 hours flight to Australia on my own.
Yeah.
It wasn't too bad, to be fair. I mean, I thought, I got there, checked in and I said, "Oh, we're putting you upstairs." I thought, "Yeah, I've been upgraded to first class, on the jumbo up the top, And then you go up the stairs and all that. It's just as normal, more space for second class.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I was really impressed when they said that. But then when the reality of going up there,
hit pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly. I thought I'd actually done it first class for a change. I remember flying on that flight, and it's been boring really on your own. So I was just drinking and drinking and drinking, and I was like, "Can I have another drink?" To the hostess. It was all nice and all that, and she said, "So you've been drinking for 9 hours. We're pulling into Singapore or wherever it was. Oh, sorry, I'll wait until we get on the next leg then, shall I?" But yeah, it was quite thing. And I agreed to catch up with my mates in Sydney, who booked up the day before. And they said, oh yeah, Paddington Bar or the London Bar or something like that in Oxford Street. I thought, oh, it sounds easy to find and all that. So I just got in the old transfer bus and whatever, and went down, dropped me off at the end of Oxford Street. And if it's anything like Oxford Street in London, it's about 2 miles long, weren't it? And he dropped me up at the other end, and I had to walk. Couldn't get a taxi or anything. And it was the most horrendous rain you've ever seen. You think of Australia, bright sunshine and all that, but technically they have a winter as well, opposite to us. And all the roads were like rivers, and I've had to, crossing the rivers. I was like wading through water, had all my luggage with me and all that.
Of course, yeah.
Got absolutely soaked. And then got into the pub, absolutely dripping. All my clothes are soaking wet and all that. And my mates ain't in the pub.
No.
Yeah, exactly. I was obviously running late, drinking at another bar and all that. And then eventually they come in and took me to the hotel like we booked.
Yeah.
But it was, so the first game was in Sydney. But another little footnote is because we played at Wembley, I think 6 days before or something like that. And obviously I couldn't get on the one flight, then I had to get on the next one. I went to get my visa up Australia House or whatever it was called in them days.
Right.
And I turned up and I submitted my application. You're going to Australia for 5 days? I said, yeah. I said, how come you're going all that way for 5 days? I said, well, the end of the season is then. And then we're playing in New Zealand the following, a few days later. So that's the maximum I could sort of do in Australia. They thought I was mad going to Australia for 5 days. But obviously we had to move on.
Things you got to do.
Yeah, things,
Had you booked like onward to New Zealand then?
Yeah, we'd booked everything actually.
Oh, right.
Because Trailfinders, they do the whole package. They're still about now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, they I mean that was in the infancy probably then. And they'd done the whole package, all the flights and all that. And I mean, we even had internal flights between the games in New Zealand. We stopped off. I'm not sure if they were booked beforehand, but we certainly had internal flights that we got on. I think we might have booked the internal ones when we got over there, but on the whole, the out to Sydney over to New Zealand was all booked in advance because you knew where the games were. And then obviously we flew from New Zealand back to Australia, then Australia to Malaysia via Singapore, and stopped off there for a few days before we went to Malaysia.
And just going back to New Zealand, all right, and saying that they played one game on the North Island and one on the South Island, or were they both played in? Well, they both played in like Wellington.
They played the first game, obviously, Sydney, Australia. Then we flew over to Auckland. They played one game in Auckland, 1-1-0, I believe. And then they flew down to the south part of the North Island in Wellington.
Ah, yeah, Wellington, right. Yeah.
So we won 2-0 there. With us, we go that far. We actually done a tour. I mean, obviously, we wanted to see a few places.
Absolutely.
So from between Auckland and Wellington, there was literally a couple of days between the games. I think 3rd and 5th of June or something like that. And so we flew down to a place called Rotorua, if you've ever heard of it.
I have, and I've been there. Stinks of eggs, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You're walking along the road, and then suddenly the sulphur comes up through the pavement. You go, it stinks of eggs. You walk 2 yards, and then it's stopped, and then it's literally on a volcanic, thing, and all the sulphur's coming through. They've got the bubbling mud.
That's right. Yeah.
So
one of those places that you literally have to experience to understand how bad it smells.
Oh yeah, it's really, really bad. We even done we went up one of these mountains and done like sort of like cool runnings, go-karting down a mountain.
Yes, yeah.
We've done that was quite good fun, that was. I think the flight we got was only sort of like 46-seater or something like that, 30-seater or something like that, which is something I'd never done up until then.
Right, a little prop plane.
Yeah, it was really big. And then we went. We got a bus down to there, and then we got a plane from there to Auckland. But when we was in Auckland, we thought we've come this far. We want to do the South Island at least, in the limited time we've got.
Yeah.
So literally, we we took a ferry across the straits from the North Island to the South Island and spent a sort of like day there. And then we flew back on a sort of like 6-seater plane. You know, the pilot that was there, the co-pilot or the passenger was there, then 2 people directly behind, and then 2 people behind and 2 people behind out, or something like that. You know, it was like 8-seater, 6-seater or something like that, you know, which was, you know, and it's flying across and there's all these cliffs and all this in a tiny plane. Yeah, it was an eye opener, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's not my idea of fun, I have to say.
I've done a few helicopter trips since then, so
yeah. I mean, to get back to the football, as I've sadly got to. I mean, playing the likes of Australia and New Zealand, they're not exactly teams that have played regularly either, are they?
Yeah, we played New Zealand 4 times before that. Once in 1980, and then 3 games on a tour in 1983.
Okay.
And then after that, obviously, we've only played them 3 times at home. 03, 16 and 23. Obviously, the 03 one was at West Ham. The 2016 one was at Sunderland, and the 23 one was at Wembley.
This is Australia, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So we've played them in a total of 8 times, basically. But only the last time away was obviously 91.
Right. Okay. I guess we can expect one day soon, maybe we'll get another trip out there.
Well, back in the day, I mean, every time we used to play a home friendly against someone, it was usually linked to an away game.
That's right. Yeah.
You remember that? So, you know, every time you pulled a home game against someone, like, you know, most of the time when you played Brazil, you think, oh, yeah, away game in Brazil, brilliant, like, you know, because we hadn't played there since 84 or whatever. You know, every time you just think, oh, is it double header? Is it going to be home and away? Like, but that soon died a death after a while. But at the time, it was always a sort of double header, sort of, I'll scratch your back and you'll scratch mine sort of thing.
Yeah, you knew what was coming. Yeah.
Yeah, so it obviously just died a death, really. And then obviously we played 2 games in New Zealand, and then we've never played them since.
We did have one scheduled a couple of years ago, and it got cancelled. For I think the New Zealand couldn't. It might have been during COVID time or something.
Yeah, it might have been, mightn't it?
Yeah, and then of course we've got them prior to the World Cup, haven't we?
Yeah, so that'd be quite a. You know, obviously I'll be going, so that'd be quite a good statistic. 2 games away to New Zealand, one on a neutral venue.
Yeah, never played them on our own patch. Yeah,
there'd be quite a few that's, you know, there's been very few people who've actually done that.
Yeah, can you match that? Yeah. Well, and then the other team as part of that tour was Malaysia, and I'm going to stick my neck on the line and say that's probably the one and only time that we have played them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What was Malaysia like?
Very, very hot.
Yeah. I mean, I've been there as well. It's a lovely place.
Oh, it's lovely. I mean, when we literally done our usual, was in the pub, got in on kickoff, and the only seats available were like a front row by a fence. It was, you know, everyone had been, it was absolutely packed. 45,000 crowd, I believe.
Was it? Okay.
You know, capacity crowd, obviously 142. But it was quite a good one to get in Malaysia because, I mean, we'd gone via Singapore, so I was able to have a day or so, a couple of days in Singapore, then on to Malaysia, so we had a look around there. And then after the game, we had a couple of days up in Penang.
Right.
Which is up the top of the north of the islands. And, just a time of recovering and relaxation from the end of our 2.5-week tour or whatever it was.
Yeah, because it's not a tour just for the team, is it? It's the fans as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely, Yeah, it's hard work travelling, isn't it, really?
Yes, it can be tiring, yeah.
I mean, I'll get on a train and you go across the country and you come back and you're absolutely knackered without doing anything.
It's just across this country.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do it around the world.
Yeah. It's hard to believe that this was 1991. We're playing away in the other side of the world. But then we can go forward a year, and I mean,
5 years, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and you can't probably get any more different to Australia, New Zealand, and Malaysia than Russia in Moscow and Hungary in Budapest, can you?
Yeah, exactly. This, I mean, you think these like 21 games I've done in 91 was was bad, but 92, I only calculated it as something like 16 games or something like that. I think personally that was the hardest year for me,
Right.
for the simple reason it was some really expensive, away games. When you think we played England France at Wembley in February, next to nothing.
Yeah.
Then we played Czechoslovakia in Prague in March, which weren't that easy to get to. Then CIS in Moscow, obviously USSR it broken up, and it was then CIS in April. Then Hungary in May, followed by a home game 5 days later, and then Finland away 7 days before the start of the European Championships, which could have been potentially 3 weeks away in Sweden, which was so expensive in them days.
Right. I mean, fortunately, I guess from the wallet's point of view, the Euros in Sweden didn't last too long for us.
Well, it's you say that, but we played Finland on the 3rd, and then we had a week. I thought, is it worth coming home? For a week before, I think that was Saturday off the top of my head.
Right.
And so I went down to Berlin to watch Chelsea in a youth tournament for a few days in between, just to, as I had an interrail at the time, I thought that was the only way to sort of be able to do it. And then I could come home when I wanted, so, and then obviously, luckily enough, we only played the 3 games for the wallet's sake anyway. It would have been nice to go further, considering we went 1-0 up against Sweden, and it looked like for a while we could go through.
Yeah, wasn't it a last minute goal? Was it? I think. Sweden.
Yeah, we was 1-0 up, and then they scored 2. I can't remember what minute the second goal was, but
I think that's Thomas Brolin, wasn't he scoring?
Yeah, exactly. So it was quite disappointing in the end.
Yeah.
But not to be as usual.
No, yeah, another tournament, another disappointment. Doesn't matter what the tournament is, they're generally a disappointment. And obviously, I say generally, we've had some good runs in tournaments of recent years, but ultimately they've ended in disappointment. But even friendly tournaments, they tend to be a bit of a nightmare, because the following year, 93, was a trip to the States for the US Cup. And this was all whilst, obviously, World Cup qualification was taking place for us to get there the following year for 94. Obviously, it's a good time to talk about the States with the World Cup coming up. But yeah, 1993, the US Cup. What was that? How did all that come about?
Well, obviously, it was a fact-finding mission for the FA.
Yeah.
So don't blame them, really, to be fair. They wanted to find out where they were going to potentially base themselves, where they was going to train, and, sort of have a look of what, where they could potentially play. So obviously, and it was a money spinner, obviously. We played, obviously, USA, Brazil and Germany.
Yeah.
So, there was a lot of people that were saying, oh, yeah, I'm gonna knock this on the head and not go, for the simple reason that we got the World Cup next year. But we was nowhere near qualifying at the time. We'd had a 2-2 draw at home to Holland, which was one of the deciding factors, and then 1-1 draw at Poland and lost to Norway away all before it.
Yeah.
So we was nowhere near qualification. In the end, it come down that we could have won it, gone through, if we'd beaten San Marino by 7 clear goals, and Holland, I think, had lost. If you didn't go, you weren't going back there the following year for the World Cup. That's for sure. Mm. So it was obviously the venues were Boston for the first game, Washington for the second against Brazil, and then Detroit for the Germany game underneath the closed roof.
It was the Pontiac Stadium, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that was quite unusual.
Something back then, was it hot, like as we sort of expected it to be later on this year?
Yeah, it was really hot. Yeah, obviously they closed the roof to stop the grass burning, basically. And then I think they was taking them in and out on pallets.
What, the grass?
Was it? just so they could sort of give it as much sunlight and water that they needed without,
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was the stadium when they was doing that. I remember seeing something on the telly of.
Obviously, back then, 93, the year before the World Cup in the States, what was the sort of attitude of the American people, American public? Like, even back then, I remember 94, they were saying, oh, they don't really understand what football is. Or, did you get that sort of impression then?
Oh, they didn't have a clue. didn't have an absolute Scooby. They was literally, anyone that, especially the women, they thought we was part of the team.
Right.
They couldn't. No one could understand, that you travel X amount of thousand, miles across the Atlantic to watch England play football.
Yeah.
It got to a standing joke, really. And the girls would come up to us and say, "Oh, who are you?" And what we all done was we all sort of pretended to, be players. Like, my hair was brushed back, and so I was plaque, so I had a bit of a forehead.
Right.
I mean, my mates were trying to make me be John Barnes because I was like, the darkest out of everyone. Like, I mean, and so we all picked names. You're Platt, you're Robson, your thing. And they just didn't have a clue. Didn't have a clue what it was about. Like, and saying, what about that fat bloke over there? Oh, he's a mature. What about that fat bloke over there? Oh, he's the dietitian. It was that stupid. Like, I mean, it was just really. They just didn't have a clue because they don't even travel between states, or they, to watch whatever sport, American football or hockey or whatever sport. They just wouldn't travel even to the next state to watch a game.
Yeah. It's just different mentality, isn't it?
Oh, completely. Like, it was quite funny on one particular nightclub where there was sort of 3 groups of England fans, and the girls in the club and that, and one of the girls said to me, she said, "Oh, who are you?" I said, "Oh, David Platt." She said, "Oh, so is he over there?" And then so is he over there. Like, I mean, like, 3 different lots of England fans had the same idea. Like, and they, and so she was one of the clever ones that sussed out that we was. I mean, we got back to the hotel and we wanted another drink, and there was a sort of grab a granny night sort of thing with all these old women in there, like, and so we sort of blagged to get in, like, we said, "Oh, England team," like, you know what I mean? And they let us in and all that, and then they made us stand up and like, present us that the England team has joined us. So, I mean, all we wanted was an extra drink night, and they was literally saying, "Oh yeah, these are the England players that are playing out here at the time," and we had to stand up and sort of take a bow and all that. Like, like that.
Oh, marvelous.
I just didn't have a clue. I did enjoy it when they was beating us though in Boston, because they won that game.
They did, yeah, 2-0, didn't they? Yeah,
it's 2-0, didn't they? Yeah, so I was loving that and taking the piss as well.
And why not milk it for the moment that it was?
Oh yeah, most definitely. We would have probably done the same anyway. But I was taken by the different rules in each area. The drinking rules, like, whereas, like, I mean, the game against the first game against the USA, got into the stadium. I mean, mate just went up and bought 4 beers, just as easy as that.
Yeah. Then
I went to get another round in, and they said, "Oh, you need a stamp on your hand." So, "Oh, here, give me a stamp." "I know, you need to have a look at your passport." "Well, here's my passport. Give me a stamp." No, you've got to go all the way back to where you come in, which was miles away, and then get a stamp there. Like, and the bloke's looking at my passport and, saying, like, "What's your name?" and all that. And I thought, if you've got a false passport, you're going to remember the name in there, ain't you?
Yeah.
And then he's like, "What's your mother's maiden name?" I said, "Give me that passport here. It doesn't got to say your mother's maiden name in your passport. Just give us a stamp, like," you know what I mean? That was really, really hard work. And then I went to things and 4 beers, mate. I said, I've got a stamp. He said, "No, you can only buy 2. So then I had to go up to the stand, get one of my mates to come down, do exactly the same thing to get another 2 beers, like,
I'll tell you what, as bizarre as this sounds, I can almost envisage it happening this summer.
Yeah.
Something similar.
But the thing is, then when we went to Washington, technically they're like different countries, aren't they? They're so far apart and so big each state. There was a bloke coming round serving us beers in the stand. He had a little thing, no ID, no sale, but he weren't asking any English fans.
Right.
I mean, even in Boston, that Cheers bar, I couldn't have got in there if I was under 21, even to have a soft drink.
Okay.
Luckily enough, I was 23, but I could have played out there any time when I was, in my teens, and I was obviously still gone, but I would have had a problem about getting a drink,
Yeah.
And then, after the there was a week between the game in Washington and the game in Detroit.
Right.
So we flew down to Miami for a week, and then we went over to Bahamas for a couple of days and that. But when we was in, downtown Miami, Miami Beach or whatever, we were all right. It was all right the first couple of days, and then I think it was a Friday night or something like that. And then there's suddenly there's a group of us, and he said, "I want to see your passport, and your passport." And one of the blokes was quite pleased because he was in his 50s, that he'd been asked to see his passport. That was just taking a mick, really. Asking a 50-year-old to prove he's over 21,
Daft, isn't it?
But I can see all that happening again.
Yeah, you look forward to that. I'll tell you, some of those stories, I don't know, would you have recollected those stories to win the Sun newspaper award for whenever it was that later on in the year that you won?
Oh, yeah, because, I've got a little plaque up in the cupboard behind me, actually.
Right.
But the Sun done a bizarre competition where they sort of doing the fan of the week.
Right.
And every week I've got quite a long time, actually, they was picking out a fan that had done X amount of games and this, that, and the other, and that, and they was publicising their story, and then there was an overall prize, over they took all of the entries they got over the few months or whatever, and then they picked a complete winner. But to be fair, I've been going quite a few years, but every club has got probably a person who's done 20 years without missing a game.
Of course, yeah.
England not so much, but there was always people who had done a couple of thousand games just for the fact that they was older. So obviously I never made the winning it. But mate from work, he just applied, I think, without me knowing. And then suddenly I got a phone call or whatever, and they was asking me this, that, and the question, and then I actually got put in the Sun.
Right.
It was like fan of the week. Obviously, all my mates were taking the piss out of me and all that, and I did see something that someone had wrote "Fanny of the Week" on it.
You weren't paid. What did they have? Page 3 and page 7 fella or page 8 mate. You weren't on that, were you?
No, luckily enough, not.
Back in the day, this was. But for those of you that may be a bit more up to date in your Sun reading,
I can't even remember a page 7 man. I probably didn't read that page, so I probably skipped past it.
I'm sure they did. Page 7 fella or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah?
Yeah, don't ask me how I know that.
Yeah, I probably got stuck on page 3 and didn't get any further.
So you got a plaque for it as well, did you?
Yeah, I got a plaque for it as well, yeah.
You still shining it up?
No, it stays in the cupboard and it's probably covered behind books now.
Right. I'd be interested if I don't think this. I'd say this. I don't read the Sun. I assume they don't do things like that anymore.
No, I don't read the Sun, but it's probably. But they do. They do supporters angles and things like that, don't they?
Yeah.
In the papers and the press, don't they still?
I think so. Yeah.
It's all online now, isn't it?
But this is true. Yeah, I can't tell you the last time I bought a newspaper.
Yeah. I think it's probably got decades since I've bought one.
Yeah.
So I might pick up the standards, Free Standard, weren't it? Free Standard or the Metro, just to, something to read into going into town or whatever.
Yeah, that's where you said that you'd got some information on one of the World Cup games that was being played on the friendlies.
Yeah, that would have been it. Yeah, it would have been like literally 2 lines to say England were playing in, Cagliari and Sardinia and against these friendlies, and that's where I would have definitely got it from.
Yeah. I mean, we'll say about the World Cup and not qualifying. The main game that I say really capitulated was the Netherlands away, Holland away in Rotterdam '93. But I didn't go, but obviously I've seen all the TV documentaries on Graham Taylor. He didn't like it. What was it like there?
I don't like orange.
Yeah, don't like orange. Do I not like that? What was it like over there for that one?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a bit sort of naughty over there. 93. We're sort of getting towards 96 and where it all sort of turned away. But yeah, it was a little bit, naughty in Amsterdam and that. Rotterdam. I think there was a hand grenade thrown or some sort of bomb that was thrown by the Dutch.
Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah, it was like really, still really dodgy. I remember walking around the old Light District and just minding my own business, and then I see this bike get thrown through a window. Thinking, oh dear me, this ain't good.
Yeah.
Old Bill running up, chasing all the England fans and all that. It's not. Obviously, I might put on record it wasn't me.
Of course. Yeah.
I had my own bike.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Big atmosphere, but I think it was really. We had to really beat them to.
Did you kind of know that it was up anyway, that we weren't going then?
I mean, when we drew at home 2-2, when I forget who it was supposed to be sent off.
Koeman,
yeah. When he was supposed to be sent off, and then they come back and 2-2. I think that was the start of it.
Because didn't he pull you down? Oh no, it's Platt. He pulled Platt down.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I really hurt my leg then, actually. But that was the start of it, weren't it? And then we sort of was it a 1-1 with Norway at home?
Oh, I couldn't tell you, to be honest, without looking.
Yeah, obviously Norway beat us away, didn't they? Poland were a draw away. It was, we was lucky to be in contention, really. Yeah. Going into that game, obviously lost 2-0, didn't we, to Holland? Well, I don't remember a lot about it, but I don't remember us being much in the game, to be fair.
No, I think the team we had at the time, it wasn't a team that was going to do well at a World Cup, I don't think, put it that way.
Yeah, it's quite, considering, I thought Italia 90, we had probably 5, 6 maybe world-class players.
Yeah.
If you can't, win the World Cup with them sort of players, 2 years later, we're not even qualifying. Or 3 years later.
Yeah.
It's not, obviously, something went wrong, and it was probably the manager's fault.
A loss in Rotterdam, which meant there was there was still the chance, as you say, still a chance to get to the World Cup, but we had to go to San Marino. Well, no, it wasn't San Marino. We had to go to Italy, to Bologna, to play San Marino. We didn't play in Bologna in the 90 World Cup, did we?
Yeah, we did. We played the famous the game.
Was that Belgium?
When I scored the overhead kick? Yeah. Remember?
Yes. Yeah, last minute.
Yeah,
flat.
Last minute.
That was in Bologna, and then we met San Marino in the same ground. And as I say, we had to win by 7 clear and hope that the Dutch's result went our way. As we all know, it didn't go that way. But I mean, the story of the whole game, and I remember this from watching it at home, was the way it started, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, it kicked off, and I think Stuart Pearce passed the ball back. It was intercepted, and they scored after 7 or 9 seconds or whatever.
I think that guy dines off of that, doesn't he?
Yeah, probably. And literally, there was a handful of San Marino fans there, 2,000 English maybe, and the whole crowd just seemed to be laughing at going 1-0, needing to win by 7 clear goals, and then going 1 down in 7 or 9 seconds or whatever it was. the whole crowd were just laughing. It was just comical, really.
It was.
Yeah, and I think that summed up our tournament, our qualification period for that
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like that. We did score 7 afterwards, but it was a bit late then because Holland result didn't go our way anyway.
That's right. Yeah, I think
we needed 8 anyway after that first one.
Was that the only time did Ian Wright score a hat trick in that? I don't know if I'm right in saying that or not. I don't know. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Yeah, so that was a bit of a disaster, and probably would have been a disaster had we gone to the World Cup anyway. So perhaps it was a
he
blessing.
Scored 4 actually.
What, in that game?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. I wasn't.
Ian scored 2. Wright scored 4, and Ferdinand.
Les Ferdinand, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's quiz question that you'll probably know this one, isn't it? How many Ferdinands have played for England?
2.
I want to say 4.
God damn me.
Is it Les, Rio? Do you know what? I've gone down a right. I'm thinking of Cole. How many Coles have played for England?
All right. Got the wrong question.
I have. I don't know if I'll edit that. I don't know if I'll edit that bit out or not.
I think that in. It's quite funny if you don't.
Anyway.
I'm glad I didn't get it wrong. I was thinking, 2 out of 4. I know I can remember.
So from there, San Marino away. I think I'm right in saying we only had 2 away games the next year. Did we have? Was it Norway away and Ireland, the infamous one away? Was that all?
Yeah, you're right. You literally played San Marino November '93. Then we had a batch of 6 home games. Then Republic of Ireland, February '95. Obviously, the game that was abandoned in Dublin.
Yeah.
And then we had another spell of 5 games. And then we played Norway away in October '95. Which, so, yeah, I mean, obviously we was gearing up to playing at Wembley for the Euros. We knew we didn't have to qualify. So they obviously, played them all at home. And, got loads of money for attendances at Wembley.
Yeah.
Like the 23,000 against Greece in May '94.
real money spinner.
Yeah, and the 21,000 against England, Japan in June '95. And Colombia, 20,000.
Well, you can say that you were part of those numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think on this episode, we have been all the way around the world. I think the only continent we haven't been to really is South America. I don't think we've covered South America as part of your travels yet.
No, because obviously '84, weren't it? And then it was, in the 2000s, weren't it? By the time we played again.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. Let's go to Asia because, as you say, we're building up to Euro '96, and Terry Venables is in charge of England now. But before Euro '96 happened, there was a trip to China, to Asia, to China, Hong Kong, wasn't there?
Yeah, exactly. Well, as a supporter, to get fixtures like that, come up is like a dream come true, really. When are you ever going to go to China? Obviously never played them since.
I take it you'd never been to China before this, had you?
No, I've never been there before. Massive country and, not been there. I think we've done sort of 5 days in China and 5 days in Hong Kong. Whereas I think there was only about 30 odd England fans out in China.
Was there?
Yeah. And it was actually about 11 or 13 of us in a group, actually. So we were sort of the majority of the England fans, which brings me on to a story that somehow, we've been going out drinking and whatever. And there was a Chinese fan who turned up at our hotel to try to meet us.
Do you think you were the team?
I think,
Did he think you were the team?
Yeah, probably thought he was the team again.
Yeah.
And he turned up, and it was very strange. He got there about 10 o'clock, and I think by about 2 o'clock in the morning, and we hadn't come back, he sort of gave up and left a message.
Right.
So there was a message at the reception for us. It's, the Chinese Supporters Club wants to meet you. And we're thinking, oh, this is strange, ain't it? What, they want to punch up or what? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're still sort of in that era where, a bit dodgy watching England, and you're thinking what could happen. And I'm thinking, well. So we gave him a call anyway. And then as soon as he sort of says, party, free booze, we was well up for it.
I bet.
And he said the Chinese Supporters Club wants to meet you and all that. He said, we'll lay on transport, bring you down to the venue, and free booze. We was well up for it. Because I think a couple of them didn't come out, the 13 or 11 or whatever, but we all went down there. And I can remember being in a minibus and we're being interviewed by Radio Beijing. Probably, I don't know, 40 million people maybe in Beijing. I don't know. There must be quite a lot, Yeah. And we was live on the radio. And he's interviewing my mate and said to him, what do you think of Chinese football? And he said, well, I've never qualified for the World Cup. And we're thinking, shh, free booze, shh, don't upset them, right? And then he's turned it around and said, but I don't think it'd be very long before they do.
Clever.
Yeah, very clever. And so he's interviewing them all that. And we've got down at the venue and that. And we've got out and there's a massive cheer as if it's going off, we're all, on our toes, ready to, what's going to happen here, But it wasn't that. It was people just cheering us. The noise level, just like we was on our, back heels, really thinking, oh, what's going on here, And it's like, the noise of, the people just coming out to, to see us, you know what I mean? We got led into this pub, and we was all all sat down and people sitting all behind us, all around us, and every single, window there was, people peering in, trying to have a look at us as if we were some sort of, exhibit in a zoo,
It's like Beatlemania for England fans.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic night. And when they sort of done a bit of research because they've done drinking competitions and things like that, And me and my mate, we've had a down a pint in one before now, and back in Malaysia, and and I was current world champion because I beat my mate. So me and my mate put ourselves up, and the order of finishing was me last. My mate beat me. He come third, but these two Chinese, they're absolutely tiny. They just opened their mouth and just poured the lager straight down their thing. I beat his hands down, a couple of seconds just to down a pint, But it was fantastic atmosphere. Everyone wanted us to sign stuff and and sign tickets and sign flags and all sorts of things. It was an absolutely unbelievable party. And then it was sponsored by San Miguel apparently. So we was told. And and they suddenly run out of beer and that, and don't worry, we get some more, got some more beer, and then they took us to this nightclub, and bearing in mind how cheap it was in China, the drinks in this nightclub were about £7-8 a pint. All the Chinese weren't drinking; they were just using the nightclub as somewhere to meet people and all that. But they took us there on the, as a part of the freebie tour, which was. Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was like being a pop star for a night.
And you just know that you've signed a load of things for random Chinese people. It's probably a flag stuck up in some Chinese house, bar, whatever, with your signature still on it to this day. They think that you were David Platt.
It just follows me everywhere. Obviously I was getting towards the end of my playing days by the Hong Kong, China tour.
So where?
Can you imagine? You imagine on eBay, China versus England match ticket with Rob Did's signature.
Yes. But where was it? The game was in Beijing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. The game was in Beijing, and then I think before or after that, we'd done a tour of the Great Wall, which was something that you dream about seeing, you know what I mean? So I've gone with my mates to the Great Wall of China. We organised a tour and all that, and we had a really good guide. It was really English was brilliant. You know, he was absolutely, you know, laughing and joking with us and all that. You know, it was a really good atmosphere. Well, yeah, because I think it's about 50 miles outside the Beijing where we went to, like, and yeah, I was having a real good time. You know, it was good banter and all that. And then he's turned around to my mate and he says, "You've got a very big nose." My mate's what? My mate hasn't got a big nose, but he said, "I'll give you a big nose. I'll put it right across your face." It's a bit like you know, a thing out of Life of Brian or whatever.
I was going to say Monty Python,
yeah, Monty Python, and yeah, it's like, you know, sort of pulling them apart, like, you know what I mean? And yeah, he said, "Oh, sorry." He said, I said, "What are you doing?" Like, you know, is that, you know? He said, "Oh, the last group of English that turned up said in England it's a very nice thing to say." And they stitched him right up. Stitched him right up, and he nearly got punched on the nose because of it. Like, you know what I mean?
The poor fella's just trying to practice his English.
Yeah, you know, it was getting on really well. Like, I mean, so yeah, we've gone up to the Great Wall and they've laid on all this food for us and all that. Like, you know, it's, yeah, massive old spreads. You know, it was, you know, considering you would think they was really poor and all that.
Yeah,
and then you know, we was trying bits and all that, and then he started telling us what it is. Oh, that's goat's brain. That's something stomach, and that's something else. Like, you know what I mean? It didn't make it taste any better or it taste any worse, because it couldn't have got any worse, really, to be fair. But, you know, at least we tried it. You know?
Yes, yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah. You know, get a bit of sheep's brain down you just to soak up the alcohol. Like. But yeah, it was a really good trip, actually. That was a great Wall. And yeah, it's funny, actually, because all my mates were fat and I was still relatively skinny in them days, and so I was the only one who made it up there. We only done a short section, but they'd given it. It's really steep. Yeah, they gave up, you know, pretty quickly, actually, to be fair.
Yeah,
but there's a nice photo. I've got to find it. You know, of me sitting on top of the, you know, sitting on top of the Great Wall of China with a T-shirt which just said, "I think I'll have another beer." But again, that was really hot as well there.
Yeah. So I mean, with like Chinese football, then they still had decent attendances, didn't they? I'm pretty sure that it was it like a sellout ground?
Ah, yeah, it was. Funny enough, it was 65,000 sellout crowd.
Wow.
Now
this is 96, wasn't it?
Yeah. Now the FA was selling the two tickets, China and Hong Kong together, for about £80.
80,
yeah, it might
80.
Yeah, 80. It might have been 60 or 50, but even if it was 50 quid, that's well over the top for two games, one in China and one in Hong Kong. Yeah, and in them days, yeah, it didn't matter about caps and whatever, like, you know what I mean? So then I think two of my mates, they said, "Oh, I'm not paying that. I'll get a ticket while I'm out there."
Right, yeah.
So we're queuing up at, I think it was called the Workman's Stadium or something like that.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah, it was just off the top of my head. And we're queuing up in this little box, you know, to buy a ticket. And, you know, there's three of us. And there's a geezer coming around selling these, like, penny sweets. Right. You know, like flapjacks, or what was the, you know, things that you had as a kid, like, you know what I mean? And that was, you know, I think that was his living, selling these, like, 1 penny sweets, you know, which were probably about 100th of a penny, like, you know. Mm. And behind us, some geezer's got hold of his bag, rips it all open, and there's all sweets all over the floor and all that. Obviously, you know, it's his livelihood or whatever.
Is this an England fan?
No, this is Chinese.
Oh, right.
This is Chinese. And they're literally, you know, there's about 20 people, you know, all Chinese, fighting, kung fu kicking, fighting, and, you know, having a big, massive tear up, you know, over these 1 penny sweets, you know, and there's 3 English guys, like, literally in the queue right near it. You know, if they turned us over, you know, you would probably have about 10 times their yearly wage on us each.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So they made a, you know, I don't know, we're thinking, God damn it, this is a bit dodgy, like, you know. But we, yeah, we put our money through the hole in the wall, basically, and got a ticket. But then, obviously, we was in the home end then.
Right.
So we got in there, and it was obviously packed out, and, you know, we had to find our seats, and, the Chinese were being a bit awkward and wouldn't move to let us get to our seats and things like that, which I was surprised about, actually. And then there was another section of about 30 England fans that were in. I had an England section, which obviously booked the tickets for the FA,
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it was a massive, massive crowd. 65,000, I think the attendance was.
Wow.
But
then,
30 odd English.
Yeah. Probably the only English in the country at the time.
Yeah, I would have said probably, yeah.
And then it moved on. The tour moved on to Hong Kong, didn't it?
Yeah, this is I think we've done 5 days in China, 5 days in Hong Kong, and then we got to Hong Kong, and that was over.
Had Hong Kong been handed over?
No, it was a year away. I think.
Right.
We knew it was happening, but it weren't. I think until '97, the following year, it got handed over.
Okay, fair enough.
So, we went horse racing over there. That was just mental. That was absolutely mental. The size of the stadium. We didn't even go to the big one. We went to another one, but the size of it, and the Chinese are mad on betting. And you had to sort of go into a level, and then you had to keep going up until you could afford to, put your bet on.
I see.
That one level would be £500 limit, next one would be 250 or whatever, and we had to keep going up until we could find a floor that we could put a bet on, sort of.
Right.
But it was a bit. It was, and then we had to, it was all in Chinese. Imagine us trying to do fill in a piece of, betting slip to do, bet on a.
Yeah, bet on a horse.
Yeah, probably betted on the, on the bloke that was actually starting it, knowing us, But someone there showed us how to do it and all that. I think, you had to push things out on a piece of paper or something like that, and he showed us how to do it. And so we said, "Oh, all right, we'll just all pick a horse and all that, and then whoever wins buys the next round."
Yeah.
And what I didn't realise, I put mine on a 1 to 7 odds favourite, so I got pennies back, but then I still had to buy the round, so I was well out of pocket.
Yeah.
Luckily enough, I got 3 winners, so it didn't turn out too bad. But some of my mates got like 7 races and never got a sniff of anything,
Right.
So that was quite fun. Going to the horse racing, that was an eye opener to see how the old Chinese are mad on betting. We take it for granted now, but when you see it firsthand, it was quite a thing. And in Hong Kong, there was loads of English out there, but a lot of them come out for the weekend. I think it was a weekend.
Destination.
Game, so a lot of people, England fans, flew out just for that game. And also, there was no caps awarded in the end.
What? Why were you under the impression that there was going to be some?
Well, to be fair, we was going to go anywhere. We were going to go anyway. But I thought it was quite strange that we play China, there's caps awarded, and then we play Hong Kong, and there's no caps awarded.
Right, I see.
See what I mean? I'm sure the players would like their little hat.
Yeah.
So a lot of English flew out just for the weekend, long weekend and whatever. So there was loads of English, loads of expats as well. So it was hard to say how many was out there, but there seemed quite a few English or English expats, and compared to the last 30 odd in the other place.
Yeah, in China.
Again, obviously we picked up a ticket reasonably cheap, not like the pound we played in China, but I think it was about 20 odd quid or whatever. So it was well underneath what the FA were charging anyway.
Yeah. Who played in that and who scored in that? Because I couldn't tell you. Is this the Hong Kong Select 11 or something? Was that?
Yeah.
Hong Kong Golden Select 11 nil, England 1.
Oh, famous Ferdinand.
You're taking me back to the Ferdinand. He won't let me live that one down.
Yeah, he was a scorer. Him and his 3 mates.
Yes. I'll tell you one thing, obviously, from that trip, Hong Kong being the one, and I don't know whether you passed it or saw it, went in there, was the famous China Jump Club where the dentist chair came from.
No, we obviously heard about it and saw it in the papers and all that, but no, we never. We wasn't out on this stuff, honestly. Never seen it in my life.
Gotcha.
No, we didn't actually. We didn't actually see it, to be fair. But there was a lot of trouble, weren't there, on the Cafe Pacific plane home with the players?
Supposedly so, yes. I don't. There's a lot of different stories, aren't there?
They closed ranks and they wouldn't say anything. They collectively paid the £5,000 damage, so that says that it was.
Tells you all you need to know, doesn't it?
I think so. Yeah, there's just something about a screen broken and all that.
Yeah.
But funny enough, when we was out in China, we'd all had skinheads. We was in a bar next to a barber shop at like 11 o'clock at night, and we was pissed. And so we was like, "Oh, have a skinhead." And my mate said to me, he said, "Rob, if you have it all off, I'll have it really, really short." And I said, "I don't, it don't bother me. I work on a building site. You're assistant manager at Honda, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't bother me." But fair play, he went on it. We all had skinheads and all that. So by the time we was coming back, we flew back the same flight 24 hours after the England players.
Yes.
So they were literally, smashed up the plane and all that. And some journalist put in the paper about how well behaved the England fans, the English skinheads, that were on the plane, how well behaved we were. Like, he actually put it in the thing. Unlike 24 hours before, when the players were, smashed up the plane, we was probably just too knackered to do anything anyway. But I showed my mum. I said, "Look, they're talking about me and my mates." See? It's not true what they say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what, let's round this one up with the tournament that lives long in many England fans' memory, Euro 96. It was my first England game.
Your first England game, was it?
Yeah, Scotland was my first England game. As you say, you'd noticed the change sort of starting in, when was it, 87 to 96, just under 10 years. Go on and take us through Euro 96.
Well, yeah, Euro 96. It was obviously it was the first game of the tournament, weren't it? Switzerland was the opener.
Yeah,
and they'd done all the old what they called it, the open ceremony.
Yeah, but, the big St George and the Dragon.
Yeah, and all that. Yeah, I mean, we stayed in the pub and didn't bother with that and watched on telly later. I can't even remember anything about him. But I mean, obviously, Shearer hadn't scored, had he, for ages?
No.
He was on a barren run, and I can't remember how many games. But Benevols had actually said, "You're my number one, whatever," and he scored, didn't he?
He did.
He scored in the first 3 games. But so Shearer scored, and then it was disappointing to go away with a 1-1 draw first game of the. You want to win your first game, don't you?
Yeah.
Any tournament, you want to win your thing. So, it was on a bit on the back foot, and then obviously Scotland was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Yeah.
As I said to me before, my stupid sister had her wedding, I think, that day, so I didn't go to that either. Why do? I think it was that day. I think it was that Scotland game anyway that she got married. But literally, unbelievable game, weren't it?
Yeah, really.
Penalty save one end, go up the other end, and Gascoigne do that. It was just. There's not many moments you can say are better than that.
No, not as an England fan. It was superb. Yeah.
Yeah, over the top of his head, bang straight in. And then obviously a good celebration as well, weren't it? With the
of course, yeah.
With the dentist chair reenacting.
Yeah. I mean, I remember that, and I can see it in my mind. I was at the other end of the ground, and I can see them all lying on the floor and going, "What are they doing?" But it's only when I got home and saw it on the telly, I was like, gotcha.
Yeah, I can't really. It's a long time ago now, isn't it?
Yeah, tell me about it.
Oh, 30 years ago.
Yeah, let's best not think about it.
Yeah, I can't remember if I think I was down that end and I think I saw it, but I'm not. I couldn't say hand on heart that I definitely saw it, or whether I saw it on telly.
Yeah.
Afterwards. But Yeah, and then obviously Holland. We just destroyed Holland, didn't we?
Yeah, which made up for obviously losing to them a few years before.
Oh, that was got to be close on to the perfect game that England have played, I think.
Yeah. 4-1, and we put the Scots out, or by Holland scoring, they put Scotland out, didn't they?
Yeah, can't. Yeah, obviously, I had a word with them to do that. I said, yeah, I want a clean sheet, but if it comes to it, just let one in for not Scotland out.
That's right.
They love that. They love me now, won't they?
And then, I mean, the next game was Spain, wasn't it? And I mean, really, that we should have lost that, shouldn't we?
Yeah. Well, I can remember of it. Yeah, it's to actually go to penalties, it was unbelievable. And then another famous thing with Piercy scoring and redeeming himself from 1990.
Absolutely, yeah. Were you at the end of the penalties, or were you sort of around there?
I think I was up that end, actually, to be fair. No, I wasn't. I was up the other end. I can remember him scoring on the right hand side, yeah.
Right.
And then celebrating on the right hand side, but you could see it all right.
Yeah, I'm just seeing the pictures on his face, just the emotion coming out.
Oh, unbelievable! How many times I've seen that picture, and it was. That was the first one we won, wasn't it? First penalty shootout.
I believe so. Yeah.
There was only Germany in 1990 before that, weren't it?
Where we'd had a penalty shootout. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was. So and up on that reckoning, it was literally 1-1, one win and one defeat. That's quite a good record, really, on penalties.
It was until then, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's at that time, it was 1-1. It didn't last long because obviously the next game was Germany and we lost to them again.
Well, that's right. I mean, going
for 4 days.
Yeah.
50% we had a half respectable record.
Yeah. I mean, that Germany game, just going ahead, Shearer again so early in the game. I remember watching it at home thinking, we can do this. Just wasn't to be, though, was it?
No, we still believed in them days, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the extra time, Gaza just being, a toenail away.
If he'd grown an extra foot.
Yeah. Darren Anderson hit the post as well,
hit the post in the...
We're so close. Because I reckon we would have beaten the Czech Republic had we have got them in the final.
And it was golden goal as well. And they call it golden goal if you scored, that was it.
That's
game
right.
over.
Yeah. If one of those efforts had gone in, then
that was the end of the game. We're through.
Yeah.
Because they done that, and then they done the you had to play out the rest of the extra time, didn't they? That was the original golden goal, weren't it?
I think so. Yeah. But as you say, went to penalties, didn't go away. Southgate. It's not really what I remember Southgate for now. That penalty miss. I've sort of eradicated that moment from my mind.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never remembered it. Just another put it behind you, draw a line, and then go for the next 4 years, and hopefully it gets better.
Yeah.
But I watched that. What do you call it? The Gareth Southgate thing at the theatre.
Yes, Dear England.
Yeah, Dear England. I watched that, and I was like, a present for me and all that. And I was thinking, it just brought it all back. Bang, 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 bang. Penalty loss, penalty loss, penalty loss. It was like, it was just horrible. In a space of an hour or whatever the theatre thing, hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever, just see every penalty loss in one go. It was just like traumatizing, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Girlfriend was like, "Did you enjoy it?" No, I didn't like it. No.
PTSD.
Forget every penalty defeat going, and then to see it all wrapped up in one go, it's unbelievable. You sort of like you say, you just put it out of your mind and just carry on, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it was good though. I did like that. It's just a bit traumatized by all the penalty defeats.
Well, hopefully that's all behind us now.
Yeah, well, Italy wasn't that long ago, was it? In the final.
Oh, that's true. We'll save that for another day.
Yeah, exactly. That was all over, and then sort of started again. September, Moldova, yeah. Glenn Hoddle in charge, David Beckham on the pitch. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Yeah.
let's reconvene at some point, and we'll start from there.
Start from there, Moldova and Georgia. That was two unusual games.
Certainly were, yeah. Two places that England had never been to, I think.
Yeah, exactly. They've been back to Moldova, haven't they? But yeah, at the time, God, Jimmy, that was really, really hard to get to. Do you know what I mean?
Well, save that for us, and we'll catch up again soon. Rob, always a pleasure.
Nice to speak to you.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I know people are enjoying it as well. Yeah, we'll catch up again soon.
Yeah, we'll do the next part.
Lovely. Thanks so much to Rob there. Enjoying these, I have to say, and it appears you are too. I had so many messages about how people enjoyed that first episode. And I did mean to say you can find him on Twitter if you want to send him your own message of appreciation. It's Robert Did 1969 at Robert Did D-I-D-D 1969. I'm sure he'd appreciate any messages that come his way. And you will be pleased to know that we have already recorded the next part of his story. So that will be coming soon. But what with the World Cup on the horizon, it is going to be a busy time. I need to work out what and when and where I'm going to release what. So the best thing I can suggest is you stay subscribed. Hit the subscribe button on your podcast platform of choice. And as soon as it is released, you'll get the notification. Don't forget, you can follow the show on the socials. Just search Three Lions Podcast. Give it a like, give it a follow. A review on the likes of Spotify and iTunes. Well, that always goes down well too. It helps more people find out about the show. Let's leave it there. As always, thank you so much for joining us. I will be back with you very soon. So until then, take care of yourselves. Cheers.